On this week's episode of The Flop Factor, the guys go across the NBA from the Clippers struggles, DeAndre Hunter, Russell Westbrook, Trendon Watford, the Aaron Fox, and the Emirates NBA Cup. Don't go anywhere. The Flop Factor starts now. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of The Flop Factor. Guys, we've made it 8 episodes now without getting canned. We can call that a successful podcast. It's myself, as usual, Cody Burton, alongside RJ Rice, DJ McDermott, and Brayden Laszlo. Guys, we've lasted longer than a couple of podcasts that have hit the United 2 airwaves throughout the years, but...
DJ, you broke him. Congratulations. I don't even know if we're even keeping this in. But if
we're keeping this in. We're keeping this in.
Good. I don't even want to get into our first topic already because I know you'll get into that. But, oh, my gosh. The National Basketball Association is so back, and, gosh, it's just so beautiful to see.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to see the NBA back. It's just so phenomenal. Last week we had Matt Foley on here, and he was talking about Ja going to places that I'm not going to repeat.
You left that in?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but
we're so canceled.
I mean, it's not bad, but we're not going to say that again. Why am I so loud? I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to edit those levels a little bit. But now, the Flop Factor's begun. DeAndre Hunter embarrassed Josh Giddey last night. Oh, not last night, a couple nights ago, with the ankle breaker of the season. Giddey left the game afterwards with an ankle injury, went all the way to the locker room and got it taped up. So, you could call that an ankle sprainer. I'm here all night, boys. I'm here all night. But let's just watch this. I'm going to see if this actually is picking up on the audio. If it doesn't, oh well. But if it does, here's the Cavaliers broadcast crew.
Mobley snaps one over to Hunter. Hunter works on Giddey. Whoa! He decked Giddey! Oh, and he hammers it home! A highlight reel move by DeAndre Hunter as he buckled Giddey and roars to the hole, and the Bulls need a timeout. Oh, mercy!
And then, when we cut that off, Josh Giddey was limping to the Bulls bench after rolling over his ankle. That was the most insane ankle break. That was the cleanest ankle breaker I've seen in quite some time. And it's from a wing. It's not even from you see like a guy like it would be less surprising if you saw a guy like Ja Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like a shifty guard doing something like his teammate.
It was a simple double cross.
Yeah, it was just a little crossover, shimmy, a wing player making that move, and then just also dunked on the center's head as well. So overall, we might be seeing that on the NBA awards show. They don't do that anymore, but like the hypothetical NBA awards show at the end of the year, where DeAndre Hunter is going to be named potentially Dunk of the Year and Ankle Breaker of the Year. Who knows anymore? But yeah, Josh Giddey ended up coming back into the game, but that's pretty embarrassing. He's had a great year. I mean, it's not like a knock on him or anything, but man. There's 2 Cavs fans in the room. What were your all's reaction whenever you saw DeAndre Hunter absolutely just eviscerate the Chicago Bulls like that?
Well, I thought, honestly, I didn't really think Giddey was injured. Obviously, he's limping, but in my opinion, it kind of looked like he was playing it off because obviously very embarrassing play for him. But, man, DeAndre Hunter is such a spark for this team, and you got to give credit to Kobe Altman in that front office for going out there and making the moves to be competitive in this league. And DeAndre Hunter for, Karis LeVert and Georges Niang and a pick, maybe? That is very good value, especially for a piece that you knew your team desperately needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think just one thing, the announcers on that call, they lived up to the hype. You just heard him say he decked Giddey. I mean, it was just, the vibes were on top. You saw all the crowd going crazy. That was just, I remember I was with some friends on Saturday night, and I watched that. It wasn't just me freaking out as an NBA fan. All of us were, because we all just saw him go to the ground. We were like, that was just crazy. You just don't see many ankle breakers like that in the NBA anymore today. But in terms of the Cavaliers play, they have been one of the best teams in the NBA this season, only second to the Detroit Pistons in the East Conference standings. And Donovan Mitchell has been playing out of his mind so far.
Yep, FanDuel Sports Cleveland, John Michael, Brad Doherty. Wanted to make sure I got them right, my guys. I've watched them for years. Just they always bring the electricity on their calls. That's why I always watch watching the Cavs games local when they're not on prime time. But DeAndre Hunter, my goodness, the highlight play of the year so far for the Cavaliers. Just it was really incredible play. I didn't know DeAndre Hunter could do that. I mean, Brayden, I know you talked about the trade. That was when, I believe, the trade deadline when Atlanta was kind of shipping off some pieces, and the Cavs kind of fleeced him there. I can't lie. But obviously, just an incredible play by DeAndre Hunter. I mean, I know we talked about him earlier in Flop Factor, like a few episodes ago, talking about, could he be potential six-man regarding the Strus injury, and, that could potentially take him out of it. But still, I think overall a great play, and for Cleveland so far, you got to like what you can see out of them.
Yeah, and for Cleveland in general, I mean, that is now 4 straight victories for the Cavaliers after losing 112-101 on Halloween night against the Toronto Raptors. But they've really started to pick it up. We're going to get on a little bit more on the Cavs later in this episode with Donovan Mitchell having a great start of the year as well. But we're going to move on out west, the Wild Wild West in Texas. The Dallas Mavericks. It's not looked pretty for them throughout points of the season. Their offense looks bad, really bad, really. Cooper Flag was expected to come in and just fix a lot of their offensive struggles, and you're expecting an 18-year-old to do that, so it's not been working out too hot so far. They're 3-7, 14th in the West. They finally picked up a win against the lowly Washington Wizards Saturday night, 111-105. They play tonight at 8:30 p.m. against the Milwaukee Bucks, but they don't have a point guard. I mean, the coach himself, Jason Kidd, said they don't have a point guard. D'Angelo Russell's done his best, but other than D'Angelo Russell, there's no point guard on that roster. I mean, they've started Cooper Flag at times at point guard. I mean, it's just a bunch of forwards. It's a team of forwards around D'Angelo Russell. Now, once Brandon Williams gets back, maybe you could see a little bit of him playing a little bit more. That's what he's been doing. 8.6 points per game ever since he got back into the lineup. But it's really weird watching the Mavericks because you just remember, man, there's a gaping hole at that point guard position. I wonder who they had at point guard last year. And then you remember, Luka Doncic. And speaking of that trade, an ESPN insider, it was Tim McMahon, really boldly predicted that Nico Harrison, his time's done. He said, quote, "At this point, I believe it is a matter of when, not if, Nico Harrison will be fired. There is a very, very strong likelihood that it will be midseason," end quote. It just has to happen now. Like, they got so lucky that they were able to somehow get the number 1 overall pick from a play-in spot. And like, that could have saved his job maybe if Cooper Flag came in not looking like an 18-year-old out there on a grown man basketball court, and maybe it would have saved his job a little bit because they lucked out. But terrible trade. Anthony Davis is always day-to-day. Anthony Davis. It's just like the Mavs. I don't like the Mavericks. I mean, they're a team I just don't really like. They're one of Thunder's rivals, and I never really enjoyed them. I like Dirk, but that was about it. It's fun to watch them like this. But if you're thinking this as a basketball fan, as a basketball avid viewer of the sport, as someone who watches the sport a lot, like I do, you have to. Dallas deserves the market of Dallas needs to be in a better situation than what Nico Harrison has put them in now.
Yeah, I really think with Dallas, especially with the Luka trade, everybody thought it was fake for a reason because you don't just trade one of the generational stars of the NBA, not even necessarily your own team. It's around the whole league. And a lot of people were just, I think, stunned. I mean, you even saw, especially with Mark Cuban, his initial reaction when all that happened. And then after the play-in, they got bounced, shocked. I mean, I don't think that surprised anybody with the draft lottery. And they somehow get the number 1 pick. And then everybody's like, was this some, guessing move by Nico that he was going to predict all this and that he knew he was going to get the number 1 pick, or the NBA compensated, whatever conspiracy theory you want to follow behind. I think it was just a matter of time as soon as that trade was done, because you don't just do that as a general manager. You improve your team. You don't downgrade it. And I know the main reason behind it was like, oh, defense, blah, blah, blah. We want to make a defensive team. I mean, trading for a star like Anthony Davis, who's always hurt, never usually ends to work out. And Luka leading that Magic in LA, I don't know. It's going to be a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree. It is a matter of time, and I like the point that you brought up, Cody, about how basically getting Cooper Flagg as the number 1 pick in the draft lottery, basically it just delayed this Nico Harrison firing. Everybody knew that, wow, you got Cooper Flagg, you got a generational prospect, but I think deep down, everybody knew that it wasn't going to be the saving grace that the Dallas Mavericks needed. The saving grace that the Dallas Mavericks need is Luka Doncic, and they gave him up. Another thing about draft picks, a graphic that I saw a couple hours ago, the Dallas Mavericks do not control their own first-round pick until 2031. They traded their 2027 to Charlotte for P.J. Washington. They swapped their 2028 to OKC for Daniel Gafford. They traded their 2029 first-round pick to the Nets for Kyrie Irving, and then they swapped their 2030 pick with the San Antonio Spurs for Grant Williams. So if you're talking about you're the 14th best team in the West, but I mean that's just down low. You're 3-7. The only team that's worse than you is the New Orleans Pelicans at 2-7. This is like your last year to tank. You won't have many draft prospects that you can look at into the future. If there is a year to tank, you need to do it now. But there's just so much talent on the team. It's just really organizational problems, and I think we've seen that in the past ever since they made the finals. It seems like after they made the finals, they've tried to make decisions as an organization that have just not been good for anybody in Dallas whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, he should have been fired right after trading Luka. But I mean, I get the defensive-minded moves, but with a player like Luka, it's not that hard to find 4 defenders on the court around him. It's not hard to build that around him. And I don't understand how Nico's still employed, but I mean, the Mavericks, they had the first pick basically gifted to them. I mean, a play-in team, you really don't see that often with them winning the lottery, getting the first-round pick. It kind of just felt scripted, if you want my honest opinion. Obviously, we know the NBA is not scripted, but last season definitely kind of felt like it was. It kind of felt like, oh, trade your best player to the Los Angeles Lakers and we'll gift you with the first overall pick. But, man, Nico has just done really, really horrendous things for this organization. And I think Cooper Flagg will be fine in the NBA, but as you said, he does look like an 18-year-old out there amongst grown men on the court. But I don't know. This Mavericks team's got a lot of soul searching to do and desperately need a point guard badly.
Yeah, definitely. And one last thing, Nico Harrison has been tied in with a lot of things throughout this long basketball career. One of the things is he was one of the main Nike executives in 2013 whenever Nike infamously botched the presentation to try to get Steph Curry on it. Now, his name was attached to the part where where they quote unquote mispronounced his name. That wasn't him that mispronounced it. It was another guy. Another guy said Stephon Curry or something like that, or Seth Curry. It was one of the two. And but he was part of the reason why they used a presentation that was originally made for Kevin Durant. So yeah, and also they did not offer Curry a signature shoe if he signed with Nike. So there's a lot of things going on. And Curry, obviously, the Curry brand ended up becoming a top 5 brand in the NBA. In my opinion, the 3rd biggest brand with Under Armour outside of Jordan and LeBron. But maybe at one point Kyrie was better, but currently it's you think of basketball shoes, it's Jordan, LeBron's, Curry. That's what you think. But obviously, that's not anything to do with his Dallas Mavericks tenure, but it's always fun to add that part in as well. Now, moving on, we're going to some tall trees out west with the LA Clippers. Clipper land, it's not looking too hot. They don't have their first-round pick. They're 3-6. Kawhi hasn't played. Who knows what might happen with Kawhi? Who knows what might happen? I mean, it seems like another thing gets brought up out of thin air from Pablo Torre every single week at this point because the dude is one of the best investigative journalists we've seen in the sports field in quite some time, maybe even it's been a while. I mean, this is the best sports reporting we've seen, and that's not like legal wise. Well, I guess it is legal wise, but like not like the O.J. Simpson case or something like that in quite some time. Like it's been some special stuff that he's been doing on that podcast. But the Clippers are 3-6. They've lost 4 straight games, and those games have been to the Miami Heat, Oklahoma City Thunder, and then back-to-back losses to the Phoenix Suns. Okay. They have they have our Atlanta Hawks tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, the Clippers I don't know. I wasn't high on them at the beginning of the year, but like I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I feel like they're going to pick it up a little bit, maybe make the playoffs. Who knows? They might be a playing team like they always are whenever the Thunder tend to have their unprotected first-round pick. But, I mean, that's exactly how the Thunder got Jalen Williams. That's how the Thunder got Cason Wallace. Thanks, LA. But obviously, Kawhi Leonard, 24.3 points per game in the season. He's only played in 6 games. James Harden's played in 8 with 22 a game. 9.1 assists to go along with that. But other than that, the unction has just not been unctioning. It's not been functioning. It's been unctioning, of course. But Bradley Beal's only averaging 8 points a game, which is a solid role for him at this stage in his career. But like, I feel like they won that Norman Powell input. The reason why they traded away Norman Powell was to get Bradley Beal, and I still don't agree with that. Chris Paul is bringing a veteran impact off the bench, but there's what can you all take away from the Clippers this season? It's like it's still obviously too early to say, oh man, I was right, this team is not good, but I don't know. It's just I feel like it's getting scary, especially with the looming decision of whatever is going to happen with Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard, and aspiration.
I mean, are we shocked? I mean, let's do some math here. Great. I should not say great, but a bad, huge scandal, plus players that on paper look good but aren't healthy, does not equal a winning equation. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory to say. I mean, look, the Miami loss, yes, 1-point loss. I mean, you're going to have those games. I don't really necessarily hold them for that. I mean, Harden had 29 in that match. But Oklahoma City won, obviously. You know, you're probably going to lose that one. But the Phoenix won twice, especially in the back-to-backs that are not, let's just say, within single digits, to me is a problem. And I think that the Clippers kind of have to do some soul-searching and have to understand what they want to be as a franchise, because it's either this. You're either going to leave the off-the-court stuff off the court, or you're going to let it affect the locker room, everything on the court, and your performance is going to sway because of that. And for the Clippers, it's which are you going to choose?
Yeah, I feel like this is the second time we've talked about it this year, because they started off their season with a 21-point loss to the Utah Jazz, and then they came back with wins against the Suns and the Trailblazers. And I think that win against the Trailblazers was a little bit promising, as they were 2-1 at the time. But I agree, this four loss streak is kind of concerning. Obviously, the Heat game was pretty close. Thunder, it's just the 2 Suns losses. Those are 2 games that were like identical. Your first loss was 115-102, and the second loss was 114-103. There needs to be something that changes, and I think the one thing that needs to change is some impact from their off-season acquisitions. I think John Collins needs to take a step up. He's only playing 25 minutes a game, 13 points per game, but I think he needs to be bigger on the boards. I mean, I know you have Ivica Zubac. He was phenomenal last year. I think he's kind of taken maybe a little bit of a step down, but not much. Brook Lopez. I think, Cody, you mentioned Bradley Beal a bit, but you brought in all these big-name players, and I kind of agree with what you said, RJ. It doesn't really factor in together. It doesn't seem like the puzzle pieces are getting together for this Clippers team. I think it's really just Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. They handed them the keys. They're both doing pretty good this season, but other than that, like I said, they made a bunch of off-season moves, bringing in a lot of high-caliber veteran players. It's just a matter of if they can kind of all be on the same page, because it doesn't look like they are on the same page right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the oldest team in NBA history that passed the record of the 2000-2001 Jazz. But, I mean, you kind of said it best, DJ. This team does not mesh well at all. And I think the biggest problem for them is defense. You can't expect 40-year-old Chris Paul to come off the bench and start guarding Jalen Green. Like, that is a significant difference in age and speed, and that's really what's stood out to me so far this year, especially with that loss to the Thunder. Obviously, we know one of the youngest teams in the NBA, so that's kind of like a hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby type of matchup right there when it comes to offense and defense. But yeah, this Clippers team honestly should come as a shock to nobody how like slow they're starting. But I mean, you got a player like Kawhi Leonard. We obviously know the whole load management like thing with him, but if he can actually get out on the court and play, I think that this will play a significant role as if the Clippers can make the play-in or ultimately miss the playoff. And there's so much surrounding this team right now. Obviously, I mentioned the age. There's the Steve Ballmer situation with Kawhi Leonard. We don't know what direction this team is truly heading towards. And if you're a fan of this team, I am so sorry.
Yeah, and according to November 4th, according to Chuck Chicken of the Los Angeles Times, that Ballmer is being sued by 11 investors for allegedly using aspiration to secretly pay Kawhi Leonard and just avoid the NBA salary cap. The investors claimed they were defrauded after learning Ballmer's support massive scheme, and Aspiration co-founder Joseph Sandberg already pleaded guilty to a $248 million fraud scheme with the NBA investigating the salary cap allegations. So, and I also just want to go in that Thunder game a little bit because we were talking about how age of this team is a big factor. The Clippers started that game on fire. They were looking absolutely like untouchable. James Harden was knocking down big shot after big shot. They were up 13 points in the first quarter. And then it was a close game at halftime. They led by 1 point at halftime, and it was just a snap of the finger. Boom, the Thunder took over. Third quarter, Thunder happened, but they just looked dead in the water. I mean, that's 1 point in the fourth quarter. This game went from a close game in the third, and then with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, boom, 25-point lead for the Thunder. I mean, obviously, using a matchup against the Thunder, who do this against almost everybody. I mean, they were down 11 points at halftime to the Memphis Grizzlies last night and then won by 15. That is just what they do to everybody, but it is something to look at with how Clippers against younger teams tend to not be doing the too hot. Suns are a young team themselves. The same type of stuff happened. They were up at some points in those games. I mean, they were up 7 in the second quarter to Phoenix and lost, and were down by 25 points at 1 point in the fourth quarter. That's ridiculous. They can't last a game. They can't last a full game. And I think that's going to be the recurring theme throughout this season for the Clippers. And I think this is going to show a sign of this Clippers team this year, in my opinion, is the sign of the official swap of eras in the current state of the NBA, with the amount of guys who were players we grew up watching, absolutely adoring: Chris Paul, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. Like, all of these guys are at the end of their careers, and they're all playing together, trying to make one last hurrah before they end up in Cancun. My bad. But yeah, moving on. A little bit more positive news. Speaking of the new era of NBA basketball, Trendon Watford could be one of those guys. He's averaging 10 points a game on the season, but in the absence of Paul George, he's been shining. He had a triple-double a couple nights ago. Obviously, against the Detroit Pistons last night, he didn't have the best of games, went 3 of 8 from the field, only had 7 points. But against those Toronto Raptors that are full of wings, he had a 10-shot, 8 of 10 shooting, 1 of 2 from three-point range, 3 of 5 free throw, triple-double, 20 points, 10 assists, 17 rebounds. I mean, now obviously, this is his, I believe, fifth year in the league now. And he started with the Portland Trailblazers, and he went to the Brooklyn Nets. I've always been a fan of his game. He's always been one of those guys that's just bounced around those lower half of conference teams that have been like, oh, this guy could do something one day. He had averaged 10.2 points a game last year for Brooklyn. This year, he's been filling in for the Sixers in a really solid role that I feel like he's going to be excelling in. But he reminds me a lot of Thaddeus Young, which is very weird because
I don't think it's weird.
I mean, it's just weird because he's back on the Sixers. Like, it's a Thaddeus Young type player in the Sixers, and It's just he's that type of smaller power forward that's a great playmaker, a great rebounder, and a solid scorer at times. He utilizes the high post playmaking really well, and that's what he was doing against those Toronto Raptors. He was playing in that high post, finding guys on cuts, finding Tyrese Maxey in the corner, who is still averaging almost 40 points per game this season. I have no idea what's going on with him, but good for him. I love Tyrese Maxey. And he's also playing like 42 minutes a game. He's putting that team on his back. But Trendon Watford has been a great guy so far. What do you all see from him and just how he's been playing so far? On top of that, do y'all really feel like this Thaddeus Young comp is a thing that suits him? It's one of the things I've been kind of running with for the past couple of years of his career, and I think it's really shining in full fruition right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good comparison, especially considering, like, for the Philadelphia 76ers' sake, any healthy forward is a good forward for them, especially knowing their injuries and the stuff that they've dealt with the past couple of years. I mean, some of the games that really stand out to me that he has is obviously his field goal percentages. I mean, the Brooklyn game, November 2nd, 7 for 9 shooting. You're hitting that 77% range. In Cleveland, you're having 16 points and against a really tough Cavalier team and making all your threes 2 for 2. And then this game against Toronto where he just casually drops the triple-double. I mean, you got to love the performance you're seeing out of him, especially how he can fit in the 76ers role, especially once everybody is healthy. I think still he deserves a minute bump for this. And I think even it'll be really incredible to see in that regard as well. And I think for Philadelphia, even they had more of a hotter start to the season than a lot of people really were expecting. So I think you could also kind of show that to the coaching staff for Nick Nurse and company as well. But I think for Trendon Watford, really excited what he's done so far. And trust me, Flop Factor's going to be keeping a good eye on him.
Yeah, so this is going to be an unpopular opinion for what I'm about to say. First of all, I want to say that in our East episode, I had the 76ers being one of our risers in teams of who in their performance last year to their performance this year. And I think they have exceeded expectations so far. Obviously, you have Tyrese Maxey. You have even Kelly Oubre has been playing pretty good basketball. And Joel Embiid, I will give him some credit. Hasn't been playing a lot of minutes, but in the minutes that he has played, he has had an impact. But the take that I'm going to say is in a couple weeks when Paul George comes back, we're not going to be talking about Trendon Watford that much. I don't think he's going to be that big of a factor for the 76ers going forward. And it's really about his play against good teams. I'm looking at this game against Detroit. He did not have a good game, and Detroit is one of the best teams in the East. He had a decent game against Cleveland Cavaliers, but the best games that he's had, I mean, no offense, the Toronto Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets are not that good, and those were games that basically that made him shine, especially the Raptors game where he had 20, 17, and 10. But I have a lot of confidence in the 76ers team. I think they're going to do very good, and I think they have a lot of pieces especially a lot of injured pieces that are going to be coming back for them. But in terms of Trendon Watford, yes, he has had a couple of good games, but when it comes into getting into that the competition of the East, I don't think he's going to be getting a lot of minutes or having a lot of impact for the 76ers team.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Thad Young comparison because Thad Young career shooting percentage is above 50, and if Watford continues on this trajectory, he's probably going to end up around that same spot. And I kind of disagree with that, DJ. I mean, I think that if the Sixers want to be competitive in the East especially, you need a deep bench. And I think that if Watford continues this level of play, obviously I know that the Raptors and the Nets are not one of the premier teams in the NBA, but even against the Cavs, he had a solid outing. And if he keeps this up, I think that he can honestly carve out a really solid role in that 76ers rotation. And if the Sixers keep winning, we could possibly see some Trendon Watford playoff minutes.
Yeah, we potentially good. He's currently 7th on the Philadelphia 76ers in minutes per game. You still have guys like Andre Drummond, Adam Bona, Barry Walker, Jared McCain, and Justin Edwards, who are behind him in the rotation. Obviously, Jared McCain's still trying to get back from that injury, so he'll jump up eventually. He's only played 2 games so far, but you could potentially see him. I just like those in-the-bench role player guys that every once in a while jump up and prove to everyone else that, oh, wait, he's in the NBA. He's a good player too. But moving on, speaking of guys who have proved themselves this season, in a way, a lot of people thought he was finished. I didn't. I was actually very confused on why he was still unsigned, and I was one of the people saying, dude, the Houston Rockets just had their starting point guard go out for the season. You have the Brodie right there waiting on the free agency pool. Go and sign him. And Russell Westbrook has been pretty good so far this season. He's looked great, either coming off the bench or starting in the starting five for the Sacramento Kings. He's averaging 15 points, 6.4 rebounds, 5.5 assists, while shooting 46.6% from the field and 45.1% from three-point land. He's been very good, especially in the past couple of games. He only played 16 minutes last night against Minnesota as the Kings lost by a lot. But against OKC, he had a solid game, scoring 24 points, grabbing 7 rebounds, assisting on 9 made shots as well. He shot 9 of 17 from the field, 5 of 9 from three-point range. And then the game before that, in the win over the Golden State Warriors, in 35 minutes, Russ scored 23 points, had 10 assists, and had 16 rebounds. His first triple-double of the season, and the 304th, I believe, of his long and illustrious NBA future Hall of Fame jersey retired in OKC career.
Yeah, I mean, even some players were still like, I'm still surprised that he can go out and do this at the age that he is compared to me, and I'm like, I can barely do it. And then just hearing that and showing the appreciation around the league of just how good of a player Russell Westbrook is, and he's still doing it. I mean, at his age 36 season, I mean, he's averaging, like Cody, like you mentioned, that around 15, 6, and 6 as averages, and shooting that 46%. I think you said, what was it, 42 from three-point land?
45.
45.
Yeah.
That's an insane number for Russell Westbrook, considering he's not really known to be necessarily a three-point shooter. And I think really that shows that what he's been unlocked, and even these couple games, and some of these are in the Emirates NBA Cup play, as Cody's major fan of that, against the Golden State Warriors and Denver Nuggets, dropping 23 and 26 respectively. But obviously this 23, 16, and 10 performance, that triple-double coming against Golden State, I don't know, probably still has something against the Warriors after what they did to his buddy KD. But I still think overall he still might have some left in the tank. I really wish he went to Houston, though. We were all kind of confused why he was going unsigned, because you could see the talent was there. It just wasn't getting unlocked properly on these certain teams, especially like against the Lakers, I should say, and all the drama coming around with that. But still, I'm just so excited to see Russell still balling out, and hopefully he can ball out for hopefully some more.
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I remember when we talked about that Fred VanVleet injury, that there were a bunch of free agents out there, and Russell Westbrook at the time was still a free agent. We were all wondering why he hasn't been signed yet. There were plenty of teams that we thought he could be used on, and just his impact on obviously the Kings' record has not kind of looked like it, or looked as much as a Russell Westbrook impact. They're 3-7 right now, so obviously there are some holes on this team. But in terms of Russell Westbrook, when he is a starter, he's averaging 21.3 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 8.8 assists, 1.3 steals per game, over 50% on field goals, and like you said, 46% from the three-point line, which is crazy, and 91% from the free throw line. It's just his impact is definitely felt. I just think that there's other guys on this team that need to step up, because I don't think too many of us were high on the Kings to start the season. I think it's just we all know how packed the West is, and we think the Kings have kind of taken a step down. So if Russell Westbrook can keep up this impact at the point guard position, then maybe you can see some guys like Domantas Sabonis. He's done decent this season. His scoring has gone down a little bit, but you kind of need to have those veterans out there. Obviously, their top 4 scorers are all veterans in this league: Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, and Russell Westbrook. Malik Monk has done decent, but it's just the record is not showing it. But I think Russell Westbrook was a huge signing, and I don't think the Kings would even be anywhere near their record right now if it wasn't for Russell Westbrook signing with them to begin the season.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook has always been one of my favorite players to watch, especially after KD left OKC. But the impact Russ has on all the teams he's played on is felt. Like, he's a game changer, and I know I forget where it was, but I saw the clip of him saying, "I'm the best rebounding guard in the NBA's history," which he might not be far off from that. And honestly, I hope he does keep playing, because his energy, his IQ for the game is really what makes him special. And imagine this Kings big three of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and then you throw in Russ. Imagine this team 8 years ago. Like, this team would definitely be competing in the West. But it's 2025. It's really not working out for Sacramento. But I'm really proud of Russ. I mean, if anybody's battled diversity, it's definitely been Russell Westbrook. And he always finds a way to produce wherever he's at.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on to another very athletic point guard that is now on a new team compared to where he used to be for his entire career until midway through last season when he was shipped to San Antonio from the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox. He played his first game of the season a couple nights ago against the New Orleans Pelicans. He scored 24 points and got picked up 3 assists and also grabbed 3 rebounds. He shot 64.3% from the field. The Spurs have the Chicago Bulls tonight. The Spurs are the second best record in the Western Conference, tied with a couple of teams like the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver Nuggets are 2 of them. But he's back. He's getting in his groove again. It comes at the perfect time after Dylan Harper went down with an injury for a couple of weeks. But what does De'Aaron Fox coming back not only mean for his season, also mean for the Spurs season? What does it mean for the entire Western Conference?
Well, I think especially for the San Antonio Spurs, having a guy like De'Aaron Fox back and showing that he can already put up good numbers in his first performance is really going to help, obviously, with how Wemby's been playing so far, and that'll also help with him in his development this season. That game against Chicago tonight is going to be a very interesting game. 2 teams that are currently in the top 6 in their respective conferences. Be really excited to keep up with that one, but I still think, especially with San Antonio, look, I mean, they're on a hot start, and considering that if you keep this energy going, you keep this momentum, because obviously in the National Basketball Association, when you have momentum, you'd like to keep it as much as possible. I mean, you're having him also, like guys with Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes. I mean, if you get that starting rotation really, truly unlocked, and obviously you're first in that Southwest Division, you keep that going, I mean, the sky could be the limit for the San Antonio team. You could see him have a high seed in this upcoming Western Conference playoffs.
Yeah, I really like what you said, Cody, about the Dylan Harper injury. That was a killer. I remember seeing him go down, and then it was announced that he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure it said. And that was kind of a killer. But then a couple days later, you see De'Aaron Fox is projected to make his Spurs debut, and it was nothing short of a phenomenal debut. He was super efficient, had 24 points in 31 minutes, shooting 64% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, ending with 3 rebounds and 3 assists as well. He didn't. Here's a cool stat. I was telling you about this before the episode. He didn't score his first points of the season until 9:39 left in the second quarter. 3 minutes later, at the 6:15 mark, he already had 15 points, and the Spurs had a 16-point lead at the time. I think that is a testament to how much of an impact De'Aaron Fox has on the Spurs team, and I'm just super excited as a Spurs fan to finally see De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper healthy at the exact same time, because Dylan Harper, before the injury, was playing phenomenal for being a rookie, especially playing off the bench. Once De'Aaron Fox gets into full groove, and with this Spurs team, like you were saying, Devin Vassell and one person I think we can all improve, all can agree has improved this season, has been Stephon Castle, especially with his playmaking, averaging 7.3 assists this season. I think once Dylan Harper's healthy, having him come off the bench in relief to De'Aaron Fox, it's going to be special. I'm super excited. And in terms of Victor Wembanyama, his playmaking is going to be phenomenal. And once you add Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox, both of their playmaking added with Wemby's just pure basketball ability is going to be it's going to be pure cinema, and I'm really excited to watch this game against them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this move definitely puts the pressure on OKC, in my opinion.
With Xfinity.
If there's a team that's going to challenge OKC in that Western Conference, I mean, you can't discount teams like the Nuggets or the Lakers or even the Rockets, to be honest. But the team that I'm looking at that's going to be the most impacted by this is the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially with guys. Obviously, we know how great Wemby is, but adding an X-factor guard like De'Aaron Fox, that's going to be absolutely scary out west. And who knows? We might be seeing this team late into June.
Yeah, we could be seeing this team very late into June. This is a very competitive young Spurs team. I honestly think they reminded me of a lot of the Thunder 2 years ago, where it's like they're super young, they're super hungry, they could potentially make a push out there in the West, but maybe next year is the year, not this year just yet. But Spurs are very young. They're very hungry. They're a very good team with De'Aaron Fox, Stephen Castle, and also, obviously, Victor Wembanyama. But before we move on to the thing that you two want to talk about the most, about Donovan Mitchell, I want to add in a little stat nugget I just found on A.J. Mitchell. It just popped up in my feed. A.J. Mitchell joined James Harden as the first Thunder player 24 years or younger to score 150-plus points off the bench in the first 10 games of the season. Harden did that in his sixth-man of the year season, averaging 16, 4, and 4 for Oklahoma City. A.J. Mitchell is currently averaging 16, 4, and 4. And A.J. Mitchell and James Harden, the only two players who do this for Oklahoma City. Spencer Haywood and Sean Kemp are the two that did it for Seattle. Good for A.J. Moving on to the Donovan Mitchell season so far. Donovan Mitchell has been very good so far on the young season. 30.7 points, 3.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists. I won't say anything more. There's two Cavs fans in the room. Talk about your guy.
Well, I think with Donovan Mitchell, we've seen it, Brayden. I know that. I mean, he's just so electric on the court, and obviously that trade that we made with – oh, my gosh, I'm blanking.
Utah Jazz,
yeah. I really confuse them and Denver sometimes. I didn't want to say Denver.
He was on Denver. He got drafted by Denver.
He got drafted by the Nuggets.
So it technically would have been not too horrible. But brain fog, man, let me tell you. But I think still for Donovan Mitchell, he's just an incredible player. And I think for this Cleveland team, especially against Chicago, we saw that, those eight straight points. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that Chicago game, I thought they were going to get that ahead of us. But Donovan Mitchell just showing, kind of almost gives you that, not comparing him to LeBron, but when you go on those little runs in Cleveland, I mean, especially on that home floor with those jerseys, Brayden, let me tell you, they're great to see. But obviously I was a little bit worried for Cleveland at first, especially after those Boston-Toronto games back-to-back, not really good-looking losses. But then ever since then, they're kind of just taking that next step. And especially with Darius Garland back, I think that's also going to help him a lot in his confidence and obviously spreading the ball. I mean, getting those wins against the 76ers, Hawks, and even the Chicago Bulls just recently. And with the game against Miami tonight, I think it could be really interesting to see how Cleveland faces off so far. They're 7-3, and I think they have a lot of potential this year. Yeah,
obviously they started off with that loss against the Knicks, and I think I remember talking to you two about it. You guys were kind of had a sour taste in your guys' mouth after that Knicks loss. Obviously, then you guys went on a 3-game win streak, 2-game losing streak, but now it seems like you guys have gotten finally back on track with a 4-game win streak against the Miami Heat, who I'm not very high on. So this could very well turn into a 5-game win streak. But in terms of Donovan Mitchell's play, I mean, he's been phenomenal. 30 points in 33 minutes per game. I mean, it's just I remember seeing the Utah Jazz Cleveland Cavaliers trade for Donovan Mitchell when it first happened. I think that was the last time that the Jazz have really been competitive in the West, was when they had that star presence of Donovan Mitchell. They haven't really had it since. Obviously, Lauri Markkanen has been playing pretty well, but we're not talking about that. But I think, obviously, we watched that highlight of DeAndre Hunter decking Josh Giddey before, but I didn't realize how well he's been playing this season. Obviously, he's the third highest scorer on the team right now, averaging 18 points in 28 minutes, and his field goal percentages, he's been pretty consistent. If he can keep that up, especially if he ends up going back to that bench role later in the season, I'm not sure if he's going to, but obviously he's been playing at a really good kind of second, third scorer to Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. But if those three, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, if they can keep it up with Darius Garland returning to the lineup, kind of give him time to get that groove back on, then this Cleveland Cavaliers team is going to be very similar to, I feel like it's going to be very similar to last year's team and how dominant they were.
Yeah, let me just say, I hope Donovan Mitchell gets rage baited on 2K before every game, because that Sixers game, man, what a game. 46 points on 15 of 21 shooting and 10 of 10 from the free throw line. But overall this season, I think one thing's for certain in my opinion when watching this Cavs team, Donovan Mitchell plays better when Darius Garland is out there. I think that just having that other guard presence in the backcourt with him is what really unlocks his potential. And I think that Darius Garland feeds off of that really well as well. But Donovan Mitchell, I think, honestly, is playing his way into the MVP race. And I know last year it kind of died off towards the end because Cavs kind of skidded in March and late February. But if they keep this up, I think we could have serious conversations about Donovan Mitchell getting his first MVP award.
Yeah, definitely. Donovan Mitchell has always been one of my favorite players to watch ever since he entered the league. I just love, I love three-level scorers, and that's exactly what he is. And him and Darius Garland really play well off of each other. I feel like we got robbed of a healthy Darius Garland last year in the playoffs. I feel like Cavs could have done so much more. That Pacers series would have been a lot more competitive if that was the case. But Donovan Mitchell very well could be the player grabbing that most valuable player award trophy at the end of the year. There's a lot of guys who are still up there, obviously. Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic. But Donovan Mitchell right up there as well. A consistent 30-point per game scorer like him will always be in the running no matter what, especially if the Cavs are just keep on doing what they've been doing this season. But moving on with our last segment, NBA Cup speed picks, baby. The best part of the show, in my opinion. I love the Emirates NBA Cup. We have a nice set of a variety of games. We have exactly 9 games this weekend. And Friday night, November 14th, will be this week's stage of the group stage. We will be starting with Nets Magic. Friday, November 14th at 7 p.m. Brooklyn versus Orlando.
I'm going to go with Orlando. Well, should I keep the 3-word format again?
Might as
What
well.
do we think?
Yeah, but we're doing some speed picks.
Magic or Beta?
Yeah.
Yeah, Magic are better by a mile. I think Michael Porter Jr. has been playing really well this season, but Orlando Magic, we had a lot of high hopes coming into the season. They've been a little underwhelming, but Orlando Magic in this one.
Orlando Magic.
You stole exactly what I was going to do. Yeah, but give me Orlando, Jalen Suggs. Big game. Now, moving on. In Madison Square Garden, we have the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat.
Brunson going off.
I agree. I think the Knicks are also going to win against the Heat.
The Heat are a sneaky team. For that reason, give me the Heat.
Ooh.
I got 3 words for y'all. Jalen Brunson, Norman Powell. Must-see TV. I was thinking of a player to say.
Andrew Wiggins.
He's averaging 23 a game.
He is. But okay, moving on. 76ers, Detroit Pistons. Trendon Watford takes on Cade Cunningham, version 2.
You interrupted my flow, DJ. I was thinking of something really good there. You kind of lost me off guard.
This is more than 3 words, dude.
Brachy, you'll win.
If you don't know, Connor Bradford, a local U92er who may visit on this podcast at some time this year. Local 76ers fan.
Yeah. Pistons won last time. They're going to do it again. Watford's going to have another bad game, and he's going to lose his minutes. Pistons on top.
Cade Cunningham, MVP.
Man, the Pistons are so good. Okay, Sacramento Kings, Minnesota Timberwolves. You have a lot at stake here. The 2 teams who have checked in on Ja Morant so far.
Brodie is back.
Minnesota on top.
Ant Edwards.
Man, Ant-Man is no Can't-Man. That's all I'm going to say. Los Angeles Lakers on 8 p.m. tip. The Los Angeles Lakers will go to New Orleans and take on those poor Pelicans.
No, I'm not going to do it. Lakers in 5.
Derek Queen masterclass.
Luca Betta.
Okay.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Luka Doncic, Austin. I don't know. I give you the Pelicans.
Get the mix table out.
Okay.
Did I steal your phrase? Is that why you yelled at me?
No, I was trying to think of like something to rhyme for a Pelicans in 5 joke, but oh well. Trailblazers Rockets also at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a really good matchup. Is all I'm going to say about that one.
Blazers, young and coming.
Houston Rockets, yes.
Give me the Rockets.
Houston we have a problem. Thiago Splitter is coming for your head. Hornets Bucks at 8 p.m. They'll be in preserved form. Pretty big matchup. LaMelo Ball.
Did my inner Charles Barkley there, but you know what? Giannis is great.
Ryan Rollins, period.
Brusco bus rolls on. Give me the Hornets.
Okay.
Shout out Don Brusco.
Yeah, give me the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is a big-time MVP candidate this year, in my opinion. Oh, it's a battle of two terrible teams. Clippers, Mavericks.
Nico's gonna be fired.
Bye, Nico.
The unction is gonna function.
Cooper Flagg will have a great day, and the Mavericks will find the way in the Emirates NBA Cup where magic happens. Last game we will be picking. The Golden State Warriors will be going to San Antonio to play the Spurs at 9:30 p.m. It's going to be a fun game. Victor Wembanyama might play.
Victor Wembanyama, kaboom.
Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox, best point guard center duo in the NBA.
Lengthy inside. Give me the Spurs.
Victor Wembanyama has very long arms and limbs, and he will go past the Golden State Warriors and win. But that was our NBA Cup picks, as it's always fun when we pick the Emirates NBA Cup. It doesn't matter what games are going on. We'll find a way to make it entertaining, and that's where magic happens in the Emirates NBA Cup. That's going to be my new catchphrase, where magic happens, and that's why I feel like the Orlando Magic will find a way to make it to the Emirates NBA Cup final this year. But that's all she wrote for this episode of the Flop Factor. Thanks for making it all the way through with just four dudes talking about the NBA. What, DJ?
I'm telling you how excited I am for the Emirates NBA Cup as well.
Yeah, you're very excited for the Emirates NBA Cup, man. Yeah, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Flop Factor. It always ends up like this. Thanks. Bye.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.